Okay, what we're looking at today is systems of equations. So if you could title your notes. Here's your definition, two or more equations in the same variables. I kind of reworded it here. It's two or more equations that must all be true at the same time. So for example, a system of equations is going to look like this. It's going to have two equations. It's going to have a y and an x, or an a and a b. It's going to have two variables in it and a number. Okay? And basically, the solution is going to look like this. So we're trying to figure out what x equals and what y equals so that both equations are true. So if I check this, if x is 18, 4 times 18 is 72. Okay, it's true for this one. And in this one, if x is 18 and y is 72, then 18 plus 72 equals 90. That's true, okay? So this would be our solution, okay? And it's the only solution. It can also be written as an ordered pair because actually what we can do is graph these two. These are lines, and they cross at over 18 up 72, okay? But for now, we're going to look at it on paper, not on the graphing. All right, so here we go again. It says what we're trying to do is determine what x equals and y equals so that we get a true statement for each of the two equations, okay? So if we wanted to figure out for this, we could do trial and error. Okay, so we could say, well, what if x is 10? Well, then 5 times 10 is 50. Well, does 10 plus 50 equal 60? Yeah, so that would work. But if I were to pick one that didn't work, so let's say I thought x was 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Well, 2 plus 10 doesn't equal 60, so that's not my solution. Okay, so you got to find the one that works. Now, we got lucky on that one. All right, so I'm going to show you mathematically how we can get there. All right, write these steps down. It says how to solve a system of equations. Use substitution to replace one of the variables. Then we're going to solve for the remaining variable. Then we're going to use substitution to determine the value of the other variable. Okay, it's kind of wordy right now. I'll walk you through it, all right? Okay, so first step, use substitution to replace one of the variables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one because it's already solved for y. So I'm going to take this 4x and I'm going to substitute it into the other equation in place of y. Kind of like in a sport, in basketball, okay? You're going to substitute one for the other one. So instead of x plus y, I'm going to write x plus 4x. Okay, and what this does for us is now we only have one variable, now we can go ahead and solve it. So x plus x is 5x equals 90, divide by 5, just like we've been doing. So 90 divided by 5 is 18. Okay, so x is 18, all right, and we go back here to our steps, we solved. Use substitution to determine the value of the other variable. Okay, so if x is 18, I'm going to go back to either equation, it doesn't matter. If I could take 4 times 18 to get my y, or I can say 18 plus what gets me 92, or sorry, 90. So 90 minus 18, maybe that's faster. I don't know if you want to subtract or if you want to multiply, it doesn't matter. Either way, y is 72. That's our solution. Okay, let's try another one. So here I'm going to take 2m, and I'm going to put it in the other equation where n is. Okay, so bring down my m. Come on. Bring down my m, go minus 3, but instead of n, I'm going to replace it with 2m. Bring down my equals, bring down my 20. Okay, now I don't have to look at this anymore for a while, okay? Just take it from here. Well, I'm going to simplify this. This is 6m. Okay, 1m minus 6m is negative 5m. Come on. Okay, then I'm going to solve, keep going until I get m by itself. So in this case, m equals negative 4. Okay? Okay, I don't know what's up with my pen today, but alright, so m equals negative 4. Alright, then I'm going to go back up here and refer to this, and we're going to say, okay, if m is negative 4, I'm going to put it into one of the equations. Well, obviously this one's a little shorter. This might be a little quicker to get what our m is. If m times 2 equals n, if m is negative 4, well, 2 times negative 4 is going to be negative 8. That's going to be our solution. Okay? All right, so let's try, you know what? Go ahead and pause at this point. I want you to try this one, all right, and see how you do. Then come back. So I'm going to go 2y in place of x. Instead of x, I'm going to write 2y. Okay, then I'm going to solve. 3 times 2 is 6y plus 4y. 6y plus 4y is 10y. Divide by 10. All right, so y is 7/10, or if you wanted to make it a decimal, okay, that's fine. Then we got to figure out x. Well, 2 times y is going to get me x, so if I double 0.7, I get 1.4. Okay? Sorry, that was a tricky one to have you start on your own. But if you got it, awesome. If you didn't, that's okay. Just follow my steps and see if you can figure out what I did. If you want to, call me over at this point, okay? And I'll walk you through what I did. All right. So this one's a little different in that they both are solved for y. So what I can do is I can take this whole thing and I'm going to put it in this equation in place of y. Okay, so instead of y, I'm writing 4x plus 18. Then I'm writing your equals negative 3x minus 10. Okay, now I have just my x's. This is like what we did last week, okay? So I'm going to add 3x, get my x's on this side. Then I'm going to get my numbers over here. So 7x equals negative 28. Okay, then I'm going to divide by 7, so x equals negative 4. That's a 4. Okay, then I got to put it back into one of the two equations. Doesn't matter, you'll get the same answer. Let's do the top one because it doesn't have as many negatives, okay? So I'm going to go 4 times negative 4 is negative 16, plus 18 is 2. Okay, or I could have put in the bottom one. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12, and 12 minus 10 gets me 2. Okay, so it's going to work for both equations. All right, so let's try this one. I'm going to take this one because it's solved for n, and I'm going to put it in the other equation in place of n. So bring down my 2m, bring down my plus 7, but instead of n, I'm going to put in m plus 1. All right, I'm going to call this a medium difficulty, okay, because we're going to have to also distribute on this one. All right, so 7 times m is 7m. 7 times 1 is 7. We can either subtract 7 or combine our m's. Let's just go ahead and combine our m's. Then subtract 7, so 9m equals 9. Okay. So if 9m equals 9, I'm going to divide by 9, so m equals 1. All right, and then I'm going to put it in this one. This is going to be pretty quick, right? If m is 1, well, then 1 plus 1 equals 2. And that's our solution. All right, let's see. We got x plus 1, and we're going to put it in place of y. So right there. Bring down my x, bring down my 1, or my plus. Then in place of y, I'm going to write x plus 1 equals 9. All right, my parentheses aren't really doing anything here, so I could have just done this, because it's not like on this one where we had to multiply the 7 through. Okay, there's really just a 1 here, so it doesn't really change anything. We could combine the x's. Then get our numbers on the other side, so 2x equals 8. Divide by 2, so x equals 4. If x is 4, 4 plus 1 gets me 5. Or I suppose I could have done that here too. We're going to say, well, if x is 4, 4 plus what gets me 9? So again, same answer as 5. All right, let's see. So we're going to take this whole thing and put it in here. See if you can set that up. Okay, give it a try. Go ahead and pause it. Then come back. All right, this is what your setup should look like. We got 4, and then instead of p, I'm going to put 3q minus 1. Then I'm going to bring down my minus 2q and my equals and my negative 4. All right, this is still, again, this is a medium difficulty. All right, so we got to distribute. We get 12q minus 4. Oh, this one's interesting. All right, if I add 4, I'm going to get 0 over here, right? And then 12q minus 2q is 10q, but anything divided by, 0 divided by anything is going to be 0. I can't take, I have nothing. I can't divide it into 10 parts. I still have nothing, okay? So q is 0, and then p, 3 times 0 is 0, 0 minus 1 is negative 1. That would be our two answers, okay? Okay, here's a little story problem one. All right, I got 2 left for you here, okay? So stick with me. 2 angles are supplementary. One is 25 degrees larger than the other. Find the measure of the angles. All right, first of all, we got to know what supplementary means. Supplementary means they add up to 180. So maybe you want to draw a picture. So if one is x and one is y, they're going to add up to 180. If one of them is 25 degrees more than the other one, well, first let's write down this one. 2 angles are supplementary. That means x plus y equals 180. Okay? If one is 25 degrees larger than the other one, well, in my picture, y looks bigger. So let's say y is going to equal the x plus another 25 degrees. Okay? Now we have what we had back here. Now we have a system of equations and we can solve it. This one is solved for y. So let's go ahead and use that. We're going to plug that into this equation where y was. So x plus, and then instead of y, I'm going to write x plus 25 equals 180. Okay? We can combine our x's, combine our like terms, 180, if you need a side of your paper, use a side of your paper. Okay, so 155, and I'm going to divide by 2. So 155 divided by 2, 7 is 14, is 1 is 15, is 7 is 14, is 1 and a half, so 77.5. All right, so that's one of them. And then the other one is going to be 25 degrees more than that. Okay, so 77.5, and we're going to add 25 to that. 102.5. Okay? All right, so now it came out to a decimal. That's all right. All right, last one. The measure of an acute angle of a right triangle is 3 times the measure of the other acute angle. Find the measure of each angle. So we have a triangle, specifically a right triangle. Okay? So we'll call these x and y. So what we have here is x plus y plus 90 is 180. All right? And then it says that one of them is 3 times the size of the other one. All right, obviously I didn't draw this to scale, but let's say y is equal to 3 times what x is. Okay? So then I'm going to go ahead in here and I'm going to substitute in. Oh, that might not be a good color to see. Okay, so I'm going to take the 3x and I'm going to put it in this equation where y is. Okay, so I've got my x plus, instead of y, I'm going to put 3x. Bring down my plus 90, bring down my equals 180. X plus 3x is 4x. Okay, subtract 90, so I have 4x equals 90. Divide by 4, and x is going to equal, well, 90 divided by 4, right? 2 times 4 is 8, 1, 0. 4 into 10 goes twice. 2 times 4 is 8. We got 2. So 22 and a half. Okay, sorry. And to figure out y, we're going to triple that. So 22.5 times 3. 6 is 7, 3 times 2 is 6, so 67.5. Okay, and then we can check ourselves. Does this one plus 90 equal 180? Yeah. And if I multiply this one by 3, do I get this one? Yeah, so that's our solution. All right, that one I would call bordering on the difficult level. Okay, so if you kind of were able to understand that. Tomorrow, okay, what I have here is to be continued. So we'll continue this tomorrow, and then I'll show you the difficult ones. But for today, you need to be able to do ones like this, the medium, okay? This was more of a medium level, and this is the intro level. So this one I hope we can understand, all right? Start with those, call me over, okay? I'll help you through it.